So what we're looking at here is my next project. This is a buddy's rifle, but actually, a little history on this. It actually, a lot of these parts used to belong to me. Way back, probably, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, I bought a DPMS AR-10 in 243 Winchester, and I shot that for a number of years. And along the way, swapped out a lot of the parts. I swapped out the trigger because the original trigger was absolutely horrid, and I can't believe I shot it that long. But anyway, trigger, and I also swapped out for the standard 8 fixed stock for a collapsible stock, and eventually ended up rebarreling it to 6mm Creedmoor. But then a buddy wanted to build an AR-10, and I told him, "Hey, I got a bunch of spare parts that could help get you going." So a lot of these parts are actually off of that original DPMS rifle. Number one, the barrel. This is that original 243 Winchester. It's a 1 in 10 twist, and the gas block and gas tube. Those came off my rifle. This handguard is like a solid aluminum handguard, which is kind of old school, but still kind of cool. And it attaches to a big barrel nut right here. It screws on. You can't really see the seam there because it's painted, but there is a seam there where this handguard screws onto this barrel nut. We're going to reuse that. And also, this stock, this A2 stock, came from that DPMS rifle, and everything inside it, the tube, the buffer, the spring, all that came from my rifle. And I think also the bolt. I know I bought a new bolt carrier because I wanted to keep mine. But the bolt is the original one matched to the barrel. And of course, I kept my receiver set, so these are newer upper and lower receiver set. But anyway, a lot of parts from that original DPMS barrel. And so what we're going to be doing mainly is, well, a couple of things. Number one, I got a new barrel because this old girl has been, technically has probably been shot out for quite a while, but it is still doing okay. So he kept shooting it for a while. But we got a nice shiny new barrel here. We'll take care of that too. We'll end up painting this at some point. But if I can get this to focus, there we go. This is a Black Hole Weaponry 243 Winchester 1 in 8 twist. So the original barrel, I said, was 1 in 10 twist, and that worked for pretty well for your conventional bullets. Of course, since then, a lot of these sleeker bullets have come out that require a more aggressive twist rate. And so that's why I went with the 108 the 1 and 8 twist, is so that we could shoot, some of those longer bullets if we wanted to. Now, what we have been shooting out of the 10 twist is these 95 grain SSTs, and it's a perfectly good bullet. Definitely a good deer bullet, works equally well on coyote. It doesn't have the highest BCs. It's not, a great long range bullet. So we'll probably start with those and then move to trying out something a little bit more streamlined, like maybe the 90 grain ELDX or something like that. But that's kind of what I got on my plate here. I'm going to swap out the barrel. I'm going to paint it to match, because this rifle is one that I painted for him. So I'll paint the barrel to match this, and then I'm going to load up some rounds. I'm going to go out and shoot it and see what we have. So I kind of have some ideas of what I'm going to shoot through this thing as far as case, powder, primer, all of that. But if you have some ideas, you can let me know in the comments, and we'll take those into consideration. But this is going to be a pretty cool rifle, I think, once we get it shooting well again. Okay, so the first step here, Well, I actually did the first step. I took off the scope, pulled the receiver apart, pulled the bolt carrier group out of there. I pulled off the gas block, which actually went pretty well. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're kind of frozen on there with carbon, but that actually came off pretty well. The next step is we're going to be removing this handguard. And to do that, I have set up in my vise here this receiver extension tool, or barrel extension torque tool. This one's from Brownells. There's definitely other brands of these, but basically this rod is cut out exactly for an AR, in this case an AR-10 or 308 style AR receiver barrel extension. And so basically, if we can see, we can't see, it'll just slide in here and it'll interface with the steel lugs on the barrel extension. So let's slide it on there. There we go. So it's locked in there. And now we can apply torque to things like the barrel, or in this case, a handguard. I'll use it to remove the barrel as well. But you can apply torque to things on here without applying it to the aluminum upper receiver, which could pretty easily warp or twist. So anytime you're doing barrel work, or anytime you're going to be applying torque to this, you probably want to be using something like that. And what I'm going to try to use is just a strap wrench. I have just a cheap strap wrench, and this is nice for anytime you want to grab something that's kind of smooth, rounded, and you don't want to mar up the finish. We can use this. So I'm just going to throw that over the top. And we get it down here to where the handguard screws on. And I'm just going to see if I can get it loose. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. We got it. There we go. Screw this handguard off. And you can see what we're dealing with here. So I showed you this whole big thing here is the barrel nut, and it's kind of an interesting design. You can see that it has holes for the gas tube, so it does require appropriate timing so that you can get it snug enough, but then also have one of these holes lined up with the gas tube hole in the receiver. So that's going to be interesting. New barrels are sometimes a little bit different there, so we might have to do some shimming, or who knows. But for now, I got the handguard off, and the next thing I'm going to do is pop this barrel nut off so I can get this barrel out. Okay, next step is to pop this barrel nut off. So again, we're using the barrel extension torque tool here. Got it clamped in my vise. Fit the barrel right in there. Now you probably could use a strap wrench also for this. Put the strap wrench right on here. Maybe pop that off, but I happen to have the proper barrel nut wrench for this type of barrel nut. So I'm going to use that. I'll just slide it over the top here. You can see it fits down in those holes. And now I can pop the breaker bar on there. And let's see how this goes. It's not going to want to. Oh boy. My vise is slipping. Oh, holy cow. Well, that was on there plenty tight. But we got it. There we go. There we are. Get the barrel off. Barrel nut. Look at that giant barrel nut. We're going to use that again. This barrel, not so much. That's going to go on the rack with the rest of my shot out barrels. It had a good life, but it's time. And now we have the receiver ready to go. I'm going to clean up the threads. Looks like I had some anti-seize on those threads, which is probably good, as hard as that thing came off. I'll clean that up and we'll get it ready for the new barrel.